have two tailors that we're looking at that are in the shop this week. This is a 600 series from the late 80s. It came in with like half the binding off, so I had to reheat the binding, put it back into place, and this back strip was even coming off too. I don't know if like the finish just like disappeared into thin air and this was like flapping out, so you'll notice that I have built up quite a bit of finish here. And we have to level that off and sand it so that it kind of blends in with the rest. But what we're going to be looking at mainly today is this guy over here that I have subcontracted from another shop. It's got an almost identical issue going on here. It's not the main thing that's going on with this guitar. This has got a headstock break too that we're going to fix, but we have to address this too because that's only going to get worse. This is a really weird break. It almost looks like it has some sort of vertical component to it. And I'm not able to get it open super wide here. So I'm gonna have to rehearse the clamping a few times to see exactly what the best way to clamp it to get it right back into place is. So I've been studying this thing for the better part of a half hour, trying to figure out exactly the best way to get it back together, and looks like just taking one big clamp and butting it up against the nut here and making sure that the middle, you know, that the highest pressure point is coming right down the middle. That's going to be the best way to do it. So while the other tailor is drying, or while that joint is setting up, I'm going to start leveling out the back strip here. And we do that with a razor. The way that I do it specifically is by guarding the edge of the razor with just regular old tape, regular old Scotch tape. Somebody who's even bigger nerd than me figured out that one of these is about 10/1000ths of an inch thick. So what you do, you take this razor and you whack it against, I whack it against my anvil, and it creates a burr, so it gives you something to scrape with. And then you protect the sides of the razor at sort of the maximum width of your repair area with the tape, and it allows your razor to sort of just glide over everything. And you end up with a whole ton of this stuff here. So I managed to scrape most of it off. There's still a tiny bit to go here. And all this snowy, powdery looking stuff on the side, it's all finished. Alrighty, the neck is back and holding strong. So now I'm filling the kind of the chips of missing wood with some mahogany dust and super glue. This is starting to look a little bit better up here, but we have to let that cure for a little bit. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn my attention to this area here. So this isn't a part of this repair originally, but this is going to become a problem sooner rather than later. You can see it just sucking up underneath that finish there. It really needs it. So we're going real slow and just using little bits at a time, because the thing about water thin is that it gets everywhere. So there's a little bit of a technique to scraping with these razor blades like this. So like I was saying, this tape gives you about 10/1000ths of an inch of clearance to work with. And but that's no good if you jam down really hard, potentially breaking through the tape. So you don't apply any downward force at all. All you're doing is touching it and scraping. So that way you're only touching really with the razor the area that's proud, and you're leaving the rest of it unscathed. Here's the back with the finished all repaired. It's definitely a dramatic difference. Because I was bubbling up like crazy before. I did just a little bit of amber color on this to try to hide that crack, and I think we did it alright, and then oversprayed it. Okay, we're back here with the 615. Same exact procedure with this one, just some thin CA came down here and then leveled it off, and so it kind of just became part of the rest of the finish, just sort of blends in with the rest of the finish, and then it's just a matter of polishing this up and making it kind of become one. The other thing that we did to this guitar that I don't think I got on tape at all was the binding job. The binding, like I think it was like almost out to here, was coming off on both sides. It was almost like two wings just flapping off the guitar. So you have to heat it up. I use these little heating pads to just sort of heat it up and tuck it back into place, glue it down, and that's not going anywhere for a long time.
Because it's funny, but it's a little quirky too. This is all Larry's idea, by the way. He came to my office and pitched it, and I immediately just thought it was super.
Larry David, Bert Bondi. I know from the waiting room with the dentist's office. Dr. Bloor, we have the same dentist.
There it is, all finished up. Binding all back together. Finish all repaired. Hardware tightened, ready to go.